Hello, in the red today. How are you all? I don't know what to say today. I've got so many things I could say, but I'm trying to do a little bit of a recap on the previous residences, if you like, but also a new few bits. I don't think you care what I talk about, to be honest, as long as the energy's there and I can see all this light coming in. I think it must be a bit of extra light we're receiving at the moment. We can all do with it. Well, first of all, I've been going through my Christmas cards. I didn't have any last year, and I just sent a couple, and I've had no tree, no presents and no cards, so it's a bit sad, isn't it? But I know I'm in between stages, so I've got to make allowances for the old is leaving, new coming in. I might have some this year. So I've written to my daughter and I say I'm not doing Christmas. I mean, it's so expensive to send stuff and it's not going to be appreciated. I've just decided that really she's not here anymore. She has died. I have to let it go. And so I was going through my cards and I came across an absolutely beautiful card that she'd sent me. I mean, I now realise, I think I'm doing, I wasn't going to start with this, but I am now, aren't I? I realise that she was a different person. I've got a lovely card here to a special mum. To a special mum. I mean, dearest mum, it starts. Where is that girl gone? I don't get anything from her at all. A prayer for Christmas. I got a box, so I'm a bit sentimental. I keep boxes of cards. Got 2 boxes full of cards because I like them, you see. I think I should have been a card manufacturer. Some of them are so pretty. I've got a scrapbook full of them as well, thinking they might be useful one day. So I'm thinking, well, in a way I'm going through another kind of letting go and death, if you like, and she has gone. The girl I used to know, this girl here, has gone. I don't know what's happened, I've got no idea. I've decided the best way to deal with it, and I think for any grief, is to remember the good times. And we did have some good times. She said some lovely things in these cards. Thank you for being there for me, and you know, really lovely, heartwarming words. So I'm going to hang on to these, put them out on the shelf, and that's my way of dealing with it. So I suggest that if you've got anything similar, to just hang on to the good bits and put them in your mind. As I said the last time, nothing real can be threatened, and this is real, this is love, this is kindness. I also came across one. Do you remember my lodge house I lived in? The lodge house, that was a posh address. People used to think I had money. Well, I did have actually at one time. So I came across this card. Now look, this is it. This is the picture, this is a card. It's a pop-up card. That is the exact replica of my lodge house. See the big iron gates in the front there? I mean, you couldn't, I know who sent it. Was Ken, the man that abused me, the man that I had this past life thing with. He sent this card. He had never seen the house. Now that's being psychic, isn't it? It's pop-up. It's a lovely, lovely card. And I came across it, I thought, my goodness me, talk about down memory lane. So I'm going to put that one up because that was a good time I had there. Well, more or less. I mean, what's a good time? But it was a happier time. I like Newark, and I wasn't with him then, but he found that card. I think that's quite remarkable that that card should be in my box. I got here with best wishes, and obviously before he was really ill, but he'd never seen it. Now, isn't that odd? It's it to a T, including the iron gates, the trees, everything. So I've been down memory lane a little bit, really. I've lost my glasses already. Oh, what are they? Anyway, I'm having a weird day today. I've had to have some new glasses. My eyesight is deteriorating, so I don't know what we're going to do. Apparently they say there's some cataracts starting up. I thought, if that's going to happen and I can't see, my life will be over. If I can't write and communicate, well, I could communicate still, but if I can't write and write stories, so I still write things, you know. But anyway, I've got to trust that I can work on it and clear them myself. You can have surgery, I know, but they're not that bad yet. So it's a bit bitty, this video today. It's a bit bitchy. I just thought I had to do it, and I had such a presence around me. I thought, no, I know what I've got to do. I had a reading from a lovely girl called Venusian Tarot. I can recommend. She is top notch, very high plane reader, and she's obviously you have a different one every time, and she does a whole thing, you know. and she said part of my task is to bring down the energies. And I thought, when someone says something like that, you know it's true, it's so encouraging, isn't it? Because I have a lot of doubts. I think we all do. Am I doing the right thing? I don't know. Of course, at my age, it's a bit late to worry anyway. But she said you could see this light, and I know that's what I'm doing. I'm bringing down all these different consciousnesses from different beings that I know into the earth plane to ground it, and that's what I'm doing now, grounding it, and the energies come out, which you obviously feel. So it's kind of that was a kind of rewarding thing in a way. So I've got a few notes here, but when I'll fit it all in I don't know, but it's going to be a bit jumpy about. But the card thing I think was important, because of the cards. I've made a decision now that this girl I used to know is not alive, not here anymore. She's gone somewhere. I've just got to make the most of it, remembering the good times. I've got my glasses on. These aren't new ones, I've got new ones coming. Anyway, I think I'll leave them on for a bit because I can see myself. Oh, pity I can't see you all, or perhaps it's not, I don't know. So, a bit of a recap. I think you remember when I have my computer, it was the one before this one. Where am I? Oh, I've got 3 more moves to go, yeah. I'm losing track a bit, but I don't suppose it really matters. You don't know where I've been, fortunately. But when I was at the little cottage, a little haunted cottage in Welton, and I had, my mum died, that's right, mum died, and I had quite a bit of money. It was lovely. Oh, I love money. I think my task in this lifetime was to learn to handle it, because I'd never had much. But anyway, this time Mum had died and I could afford a computer, which I desperately needed then. It's not long ago actually. And I had this lovely computer in this little tiny room at the top of the building, and of course I didn't know a thing. I had no idea. I could type. When I was at school I learned to type. That was my thing, typing. I'm a good typist, fast typist. But anyway, I came across, I don't know how I met him, this schoolboy. I think he had the title, I don't know, but anyway, he came to the house for a £5 in those days. So £5 to schoolboy was a lot, I suppose, and he would sit and teach me computing. He was brilliant. I mean, for a kid, you know. I think he was only 15 at the time, but he was very, very good. And he taught me all taught me the basics. And of course, I've learned a lot since then. Through other people, but mostly through myself. I think you learn by experience, don't you? But I was very pleased to have my computer. I went to all sorts of websites, and I don't do them now. But he was very clever, and he's got his own business now in Lincoln. Very clever man, big business. Lots of money, very clever. So, I mustn't digress. I was going over there then about how I met him, but I'm trying to teach myself to be more focused, you know, because my mind's all over the place. But I do get more focused eventually. So I got the computer, which was an absolute godsend, and it set me off on a new path, because I began to write. That's when I wrote my first books, 2 or 3 of them, and so I loved writing. So. But I didn't know Ken then. This chap who wrote that card. That was at the cottage with the horses. I'm sorry. This is depression. I think you get a bit silly, a bit manic when you've got depression. I do get a depression. So anyway, that was a computer, and I think that's right. That was the time I began writing. You know, the guy in America, US, the California man. Los Angeles actually, that used to write to me by hand. Well, I have my computer now, so I could write to him on an email, which was much better for me and for him, I suppose. He used to always reply back, and it went on for 4 or 5 years actually. That he was quite a friend. I went to see him, you know. I went to see him at the Westsack Festival. I think I've told you this, and he was there, and whether he felt embarrassed or not, but as soon as I was standing up to give my little speech, you could see he felt a little bit uncomfortable. So I think he had a soft spot for me, as he did for lots of people, of course. But and this writing went on for 5 years, until eventually I found out that he had died. He had died 5 years earlier, and he was still writing emails. Well, of course he wasn't. It was a channeling that was writing emails, and I did sense it was something different, because it's the same old messages all the time. But all the same, he was having a go. And I think, why don't the masters write to us on the internet? They can do. I've had this very difficult one, as you know, that wrote to Kirsty, my daughter, daughter, oh, I didn't mean to say her name, who wrote to my daughter a very unpleasant email, which I think is the basic, this is the trouble. He was so nasty, and I think she still thinks I wrote it. So the spirits can do that. They can interfere. I've said this before, it's very concerning. They can interfere in computing, they can get in your head, they can make you think differently, they can put thoughts in your head, they can put other thoughts in other people's heads, and that's what this one was doing to me. Whenever I met somebody, man or woman, you know, they'd go off me very, very quickly, and I think, what's happened? I don't know. He's been some stirring. And there's one particular master that I've had trouble with. He was doing some stirring. I'm digressing again. I don't know why I do this. I've got a whole list of things to talk about, and I keep changing the subject. I'm so sorry about it. But anyway, so in this new Paddock cottage, the up-to-date one, which is where what happened. Oh, so many things happened there. As I say, my Joshua died. Ken was, oh, he had a, I know he actually moved house. That's right, he moved house to a bungalow, warden control bungalow, and I used to go and see him, as you know, until eventually he had the stroke. It was a very interesting time, lots of changes. I think that was just about 202, 20 years ago, when all this stuff began to start, and I began to have some very strange experiences. And that was when the Twin Towers, you know, the Twin Towers in the US, they crashed. Well, they didn't, the airplanes went, and it was a dreadful time. I lost all my savings. I had £20,000 saved. I lost every penny. I should have known what to do at the time. I don't know where it goes. Somebody has it, obviously, but it's all on paper, isn't it? And I knew this had happened. I saw it happen. I watched it on the television. I was sitting at home and watched it on television. And of course, there's been a lot of trouble since then. And I just thought then, what about my, because it was with Canada Life savings. And I also, oh, I think I got about £1,000 back. So that was the start of my demise, really, financially. I began to go downhill after that. And of course, all these phone calls I was making with regard to this chap, finding out what he was up to and what he was doing. I went through an absolute nightmare. I definitely was off my head slightly, because I was offered a job as channeling, you know, on the telephone, like the mediums, the chat lines, and somebody said, I don't advise it because you're not quite compos mentis. But it was all this I was dealing with, you know, all this stuff I was dealing with. And I thought, so eventually he moved away. So I was actually, in a way, quite fortunate, because I hadn't got that particular stressor. But it was more because I had to go to his, what time is it? 12 minutes. I had to go to his bungalow, and I was still supposed to be his carer. I was earning a very small amount of money a week for looking after him. But it didn't go anywhere. Time I took him out and bought him a tea out or bought him some clothes, nobody bought him any clothes. His family, they all turned against me, but I was buying him clothes in the charity shops, trousers, because he was very incontinent, and taking his clothes, and I wasn't getting nothing for them. I think the social gave me £5 a week or something. So I spent a fortune on this man. And of course, when he died, eventually, oh, I ought to say about the care homes, but I haven't got time to take care home. You're not accepted. If you're not a wife, you're nobody. Even though you know, had this man in your bed and you looked after him and you wiped his bum and all that stuff. Sorry. You know what I mean, looked after as a carer, you know. They don't accept that. You're nobody. They call you a don't know what they call you, a significant other. That's right. But I didn't know how bad he was. I wasn't given any advice, and I used to go in there and the girls would look at me, because of course they all thought I was a prostitute. That's a video for another day, I think. But eventually he did die. They rang me one day and said, Ken's gone. Like my mother. People ring me and tell me my people I love have gone. Gone where? Gone where? He died. So that was another saga. I wasn't allowed to go to the funeral. He wouldn't accept me, family only, you know, and I went through hell over that, because I should have gone really to the funeral. So I drove to the crematorium. I was wearing a red jumper for some reason, and I drove to the crematorium, and I sat outside in my car and just sort of tuned in. Gosh, that's interesting. It's the same I did for my mother. So anyway, 14 minutes already. So here we are. Look at my lodge house. Isn't that lovely? Happy Christmas and best wish. These two big iron gates, I had to close them at night. There was a little lay-by just outside where people would draw up in their car, do all sorts of things. Lucky them. Anyway, my darlings, I'm going to go now. I'm sorry about the... I don't think you mind, actually. Somebody did say all they want to hear is my voice. That was nice, wasn't it? Off we go. Take care of yourselves. Not sure what's happening now. I think we're just going into the winter heating bills. I'm trying to keep mine turned down. It's difficult. I love being warm. God bless for now. Take care.